These right here are the XREAL Air 2 Pro augmented reality glasses, which basically aim to hide a full HD OLED display inside a pair of glasses. And they go with this phone-looking thing called the Beam Pro in order to produce a completely self-contained spatial computing setup, sort of aiming to compete with headsets like the Apple Vision Pro, but at a much more reasonable cost and in a much more convenient form factor. That said, I have to admit I'm pretty skeptical when I see anyone claiming to offer a replacement for a good old projector and a big screen for watching movies, and that happens to be one of the big marketing angles for these glasses. So in this video I want to talk about my experience with the XREAL Air 2 Pros and their companion Beam Pro accessory to see how well they work as an alternative to a real big screen, and generally what the AR spatial computing scene looks like right now, since this is pretty new to us, and chances are it's pretty new to most of our audience as well. So without further ado, this is what you'll get with the Air 2 Pros, and first impressions upon getting these things out of the package is that they're actually shockingly compact. From the front, they really do just look like regular sunglasses, but of course they're a little bit heavier, and when you look inside, you can see the optical arrangement that takes light from the two Sony 0.55-inch micro OLED displays and bounces it straight into your eyes. This is a pretty unique piece of hardware compared to more traditional VR headsets, including the Apple Vision Pro, which just put screens directly in front of your eyes and used lenses to focus your eyes onto those panels. But really, there isn't a lot of crazy technology in these glasses, aside from the OLED displays at least. The left side of the frame is where you have a USB port and presumably the power and motion circuitry, and other than that, it's basically just a portable computer monitor that works over USB-C's DisplayPort Alt mode. So in order to get the glasses to do anything interesting, we need something to make an image and process it with the motion data provided by the glasses, and that's exactly what the Beam Pro is meant to do, and it's a pretty cool little device. They're basically selling this Android phone with dual USB-C ports, one for charging and one for running the glasses, and what ties this entire experience together is their Android-based Nebula OS. On the surface, it's a pretty standard-looking spin of Android 14, but plug the glasses in and you'll see a pretty elaborate first-time introduction showing you around the most essential features of the AR interface. When you're using the glasses, the Beam Pro actually functions like a Wii remote inside the glasses, and all you have to do is point at the things you want to interact with and either tap or swipe on the screen. It's actually a very well integrated setup, and I would say the ease of use here is probably the highlight feature of the Beam Pro. Within just a couple of minutes, I felt pretty comfortable navigating most apps that you'd probably use on a regular basis with a phone, say YouTube, Google Chrome, Gmail, and so on. And having all of this functionality in something that almost looks normal on your face is something that I'd say is pretty remarkable. And from the standpoint of someone who's been looking at this technology and even bought an Oculus Quest not that long ago, while they're fundamentally different products from each other, there's no denying that a regular pair of glasses is way cooler. And the AR glasses are exactly that. You can use them like sunglasses, and the Air 2 Pros in particular even have some really nice features, like a button that dims the outer glass layer to provide more contrast for the image inside the glasses. And with this, you can really use them just about anywhere if you do need a darker image, and you can even add on the extra shade if you want pure black. But for most uses, I was perfectly happy with the darkest setting of the glasses alone. And overall, the movie experience was pretty good, both with the movie anchored as a large screen in front of me and in follow mode, where the movie screen follows you wherever you turn your head. It's hard to overstate the convenience of how the Beam Pro works as a remote in the Nebula OS interface as well, and it had to be one of the best parts of the experience. But this is where I want to start getting into the discussion of playback, image, and optical quality, which is something that I find really difficult to talk about for a few reasons, but I'm going to try to give you my honest impressions about how these glasses work for me in particular. First off, as far as the picture quality goes, the OLED screens do a fantastic job. They're everything you would want in a high-end OLED TV, and if you're in a dark environment, the contrast and brightness far exceed that of an LCD panel. Colors were very natural, it seemed like a very neutral color temperature. Overall, the image was very, very immersive. And I should mention that you can also dim the displays if needed. And that's actually pretty important because the dual OLED displays can get extremely bright at their default brightness, and wearing these can genuinely be uncomfortable if your eyes aren't yet adjusted. The other main drawback here is the fact that the brighter the screens are, the brighter the edges of the internal optics around the image will be, which can be very distracting. The optics are also very difficult to talk about since the experience that you get with a pair of AR glasses like this is going to be almost completely dependent on whether or not they happen to work well with your face. For example, unlike a VR headset, you can't just adjust the IPD or interpupillary distance of the lenses and the image, which can be really uncomfortable for certain people. I don't get cross-eyed or anything wearing these, but the issue that I do have is the fact that my eyes aren't that great, so the image just isn't very sharp. As you might have noticed, I wear prescription glasses, and if I put the XREAL glasses over my regular glasses, the image looks perfectly sharp. So if you wear prescription glasses, you might want to consider the cost of getting specially made optics for the Air 2 Pros. XREAL even provides a small frame with the glasses for this very purpose. I ended up taking my prescription lenses out of my glasses frames and hot gluing them to the Air 2 Pros, which I do not recommend you do. I'm not an optometrist, and I'm sure if I wore them like this for long enough, I'd probably get some kind of a horrible eye disorder. But in the short term, I'm amazed with how much this improved the sharpness and clarity of the image. So if you wear glasses, this is a must. I do want to knock them on one thing though, and that's the supposed 330-inch image that you can get with these glasses. And they're not wrong. You can get a display that is 330 inches diagonally, at least to my perspective, but this is limited to the same exact 46-degree field of view that the optics have. So while you can have a 330-inch image in front of you generated by the Beam Pro software, you can only see about a 120-inch rectangle of it at a time. So if you want to watch a movie in an actually sane way, you'll be scaling it down to that 120-inch display size, which is still impressive, don't get me wrong, but it's not exactly the claim they were making on their website. And concerning the Beam Pro, most of the streaming that I did worked fine with the exception of 4K streaming Blu-ray rips through Jellyfin, which for some reason started to stutter pretty bad inside the glasses, but there are a whole bunch of potential reasons why this might have been the case, and I don't blame the Beam Pro all that much for the bad experience. It has a lot of other neat features that aren't directly related to media consumption as well, like for example the dual cameras for taking stereoscopic movies and videos. It'll take up to a 1TB micro SD card, it supports quick charging, and everything else you'd want from a lower-end modern Android device. The entire body is made out of plastic, which makes it feel a little bit cheap, but considering how capable and specific of a device it is, it's meant to run the glasses, not be your phone, I'd say the price is just about right at $199 for the entry-level configuration. Overall, I think the Beam Pro is a pretty unique add-on, but at the same time, it just had a few odd issues that made it annoying to use. For example, at times you'll completely miss inputs in apps like Google Play Store, which has a lot of different scrolling areas going in opposing directions. And probably more important to me personally is the fact that it doesn't have a headphone jack, so you're stuck using the speakers built into the glasses. Not to say that the built-in sound is bad, I'd say it's on par with a decent pair of earbuds, and it's awesome that you don't have to put anything in your ears. But I prefer using actual in-ear monitors or even headphones with much better bass response for movies, neither of which you can use with the Beam Pro, which is just a little bit disappointing. What I want to make sure everyone understands about the glasses though is that they're literally just a regular USB-C DisplayPort screen, and you don't need the Beam Pro. Personally, I've been testing these glasses with a ton of different devices, including my Dell XPS, and the nice thing about a laptop with Linux is that you can run third-party software that includes functionality for the glasses. I decided to try Breezy Desktop, which has a free trial available on GitHub by the developer, and it allows you to turn any PC running GNOME Desktop into an AR workstation. I thought the experience was pretty cool, and since you get a regular keyboard and mouse, in some ways, I think this could be more useful than the Beam Pro for productivity work. But there is something I should mention here. I had the chance to talk to the developer of Breezy Desktop, and he says that XREAL is the only company that would not provide any support in the development of his application, meaning Breezy Desktop doesn't work as well on XREAL as it does on competing glasses. And we ended up having a pretty long discussion, so I cut that down and at the request of XREAL, decided to release it as an extra video, which you can find a link to in the description below. And hopefully this will be very useful for helping you determine whether or not you're the right kind of customer for these glasses, so go ahead and check that out. But with all that out of the way, I'm still really impressed with the hardware of the XREAL Air 2 Pros, and I'm excited to see how the AR market develops further down the road, since there are more companies than ever making these kinds of products. So if you want to pick some of these up for yourself, I'll be sure to leave links to XREAL's website down in the description, and probably an Amazon affiliate link if you want to help us out directly. So I think it's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you found it helpful. Let us know if you have any questions or comments down in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our future content. And as always, have an awesome day.